of the Armed Services Committee and Intelligence Committee. Good to have you with us, Senator. Thank you for being here today. So, this is an uncomfortable story that ESPN has put out there for the NBA, especially given their stance on other credible issues of social justice in this country.
It is, Martha. It's a very disturbing report. As one of the employees said, these were basically sweatshops for young Chinese kids. And the NBA employees saw the worst kinds of child abuse. And as you referenced, they even had one of these camps in northwestern China, where China is running re-education gulags for a religious minority. And they likened it to Nazi Germany in World War II. I understand the NBA has deep financial ties to China. But you have to ask at some point, what's wrong with the NBA? I mean, how many crimes will they turn a blind eye to, whether it's child abuse or ethnic cleansing or cracking down on Hong Kong? I mean, for those of us who grew up watching the epic battles of Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and then watched them put on the red, white, and blue for the Dream Team in 1992, the NBA's stance right now is very disappointing.
I mean, when you think about a communist society and athletics, I think about, the Soviet Union, the issues that they've had with doping and, pushing athletes hard. I think about the East Germans in the Olympics when I was growing up. I mean, it's not that surprising that this is a culture that is, connected between athletics and a communist regime that, wants results more than anything else. So should this be a big surprise?
Yeah, and Martha, the Chinese people love the NBA, and that's one of the reasons why it's so disappointing to see the NBA and its stars like LeBron James or Steve Kerr not take a stronger stance. I mean, the NBA is probably unique among American businesses in the leverage it has over the Chinese Communist Party. They're not like our farmers or our oil producers whose products can be bought from other countries. There is only one NBA, and hundreds of millions of Chinese are rabid fans. The NBA could take a strong stance here and call the Chinese Communist Party's bluff and ask them to stop these horrific practices. Yet unfortunately, too many of its stars and executives seem to be more concerned about making a few more bucks in a communist country than standing up for basic human liberty and dignity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point, because the whole sort of Chinese experiment with opening up China under Nixon was that the more light that you shine into a situation and you sort of bring that country into economic deals and shine light into the practices that country is carrying out, that it makes it more difficult for them to do things along these lines, and that it makes the people there want a more democratic government. It appears that is an experiment that is more and more looking like it did not work.
Unfortunately, that's the case. We were sold on engagement for 20 or 30 years from politicians in both parties that if we just opened up to China and we sent our factories and sent our jobs there, if we didn't look at all of their misdeeds in terms of stealing our intellectual property or mistreating the companies that were working there, mistreating their own people as well, that capitalism would ultimately change China. Unfortunately, China is changing capitalism, and not only in China, as we see from the NBA's behavior. The NBA portrays itself as the most politically and socially progressive of our professional sports leagues, and you can wear slogans on your jerseys that are approved by the NBA, but you can't wear Free Hong Kong. Just imagine if the NBA had locked arms behind the Houston Rockets general manager last fall and stood up for Hong Kong.
Who had the gall to tweet "Free Hong Kong," and the wrath was turned on him like we haven't seen. This is likely to. I think China's likely to be the largest issue. When we get past COVID, and I believe we will eventually, I think that the United States-China relationship is going to be one of the biggest issues of whoever is president for the next 4 years on their plate. Do you agree?
I agree absolutely, Martha. Not only did China unleash this plague on the world, but they've been taking our jobs and our factories for decades. Yeah. They've been intimidating our companies and transferring technology or just stealing it when they can't. They've got spies running all around our campuses and our elite laboratories and businesses. We have to take a stand against China.
Yeah, I think the game is changing, and you've been on this for a very long time. Senator Tom Cotton, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha.